again because that was pretty important, actually.
It is. It's
Okay.
transformational. It's so cool. And
All
it's just,
right.
yeah.
So we'll say, so run through that again, because I asked you, because I want people, when people watch the recording, because I'll even put whatever we get up, I want them
Yeah.
to hear that. Like, so what
Yeah.
is it that makes you passionate about still doing sleep?
Well, I've been doing it for 5 years, and that it feels like I've been doing it honestly for like my whole life. I can't imagine not doing it anymore. And the reason that I like to work on it and why I'm still so passionate about it is because it literally changes lives. Like, I feel like I help with the lives of the children,
Mhm.
yes, the lives of the parents, and like the life of the household. Like the household turns into a completely different place. So I swear I save marriages. Like there are marriages that are on the brink, and I insert myself. And when everybody starts sleeping better, everybody starts behaving better and treating each other better and understanding each other better. And that is a huge part of my job. The other thing is that I just love to go from point A, which is usually like rock bottom desperation, like I don't know how I'm going to do this,
Mhm.
to point B, which is after our time together, we have one phone call at the beginning, one phone call at the end. We do all the work in between. And the phone call at the end is when I get to see like the relief, and I get to hear the change, and the amount of times that people have been like, you've changed our lives. Like it's night and day. I can't believe this happened. Or I wish I had done this sooner. Like those are the things that, or like our baby is totally different, or our child is totally different, because we thought we had a happy child before, and now holy moly. And it's just really cool to see and hear about. And yeah, that's what
That's
makes me.
pretty amazing. All right. So tell me, you went to the Family Sleep Institute, right?
Mhm.
How did you pick that one versus some of the other training programs?
That's a really good question. So, the Family Sleep Institute. So, when I decided to become a sleep consultant, it was because I worked with my own sleep consultant. So, I had 3 kids under 2, right? And it was just before COVID. So, this was all before COVID hit. I had 3 kids under 2. I had a set of twins, and then a 17-month-old twins and my newborn son. And I had worked on sleep with my twins. I had read this book that's actually sitting right next to me, Healthy Sleep Habits, Happy Twins by Mark Weisberg. And I'd read that. I kind of bumbled through sleep training with the twins. And then when I had my third son, I was like, I need help. I need somebody to tell me what to do, how to do it, when to do it, because I
Mhm.
can't keep everything straight, like with all of these children and sleep. And so I worked with a sleep consultant, and I was like, oh my gosh, this changed my life. Like she was amazing, and I loved working with her. And I just felt like she just really guided me through a time where I needed somebody. And I was like, wow, I could do that. I really could do that. And then when COVID happened, I was like, wow, I have time and energy to like do this in my spare time. It was something that I could do online, that I could do in my spare time. But I was also like, where do I want to go? I didn't want to go to the same place that my consultant went to. And the reason I didn't is because it was a sleep consultant creating their own brand and training
Mm,
program. It
okay.
wasn't an actual school or certification process. And
Hmm.
so like you can brand yourself as a sleep consultant, but you really just have to go through a training process,
Yeah.
and like nobody's vetting these sleep consultants. So I was like, I want to be at the school that like everybody came from, that everybody wants to be in, and that everybody is the oldest one, the most reputable one. And so I did all my research. I pulled together a bunch, and like the end was always Family Sleep Institute. It always came down to Family Sleep Institute. They're one of the only like real true certification processes
Okay.
that aren't just like a 6-week program. It's months long. We're in mentorships. Like we have to like take tests, and we have to do things, and we have to
Mhm.
show up, and we have to continue being a part of the Family Sleep Institute afterwards, and have continuing education. And so, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it the best. And actually, Mark Weisblue, who wrote this book and the other one, Healthy Sleep Habits, Happy Child, which is super popular. He is a faculty member there. And just recently I became a faculty member there. So it's all just like very exciting and like full circle moments for me.
That's cool. I mean, it sounds like you're really ingrained into sort of where it's happening.
Yeah, I am. And I care a lot about knowing the best things that we need to know and like keeping up on information. And I think that it's really important to the Family Sleep Institute too. So
Well, if you don't mind, I would love to see what you put together and like kind of
Sure.
walk through it so people can see what you had to say and learn from you. And then if you have the energy, I'll ask you some questions when you're done.
Great. I have all
And I
the
might jump in if that's okay in the middle.
Yeah, please do. I'm going to share my screen. Oh,
Okay.
yes. Google Chrome would like to record this computer screen and audio. Great. That's fine. Let me do that. Okay, there we go. Sorry.
That's okay.
Uh-oh.
This got really casual as far as you and me just having a nice chat.
Super cash. I love it. Okay, here we go. Let's see, can I do it again? Oh, here we go. Oh, how do I do this? Oh, okay. Entire screen. Oh my goodness. It's not letting me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. I can just talk through it too.
Well, if you hit that share screen on the bottom, the little at the bottom.
That's what I did.
And what does it give you now?
It's just saying it can open a tab that's on my google.com, not on my actual, like my Keynote. That's on my.
Do you have PowerPoint or something?
Yeah.
Do you have the option at the top where it says Chrome tab, window, or entire screen?
Yeah.
And if you click on a window, what does it give you?
It says open system settings.
Oh yeah, so you have to give your computer has to give permission. So you might have to leave and rejoin us real quick.
Oh, okay, great. Hang on. Okay. I might leave and rejoin.
You're back.
I'm back. Let's see if it works now.
Oh, and the Luma thing's working now too. So I will.
It was all my fault.
Yeah, I just needed to kick you out for a minute. So. Oh, I've approved you attending your own event, by the way.
Oh, great.
So, thumbs up there.
Okay.
We might have somebody jump. Oh, you're gone again.
I'm figuring this out.
Yeah, that's great. We're all learning. It's fun. You learn, I learn, the families learn. That's the best kind of interaction.
Oh my gosh, why are you not doing this for me? Okay. Okay, we're gonna try it this last time. Ah, woohoo! I did it. Okay, woohoo!
Oh, nice. We get graphics and everything. I love this. Okay.
Yay! Okay, here we go. How does this?
Oh, so you're a keynote. You like the keynote.
I do. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it great. But I see all your slides, so I don't know if you want to turn it into presenter mode. Yeah.
Here we go. How do I make presenting? I am presenting. Here we go. And then how do I move it on the screen?
I love this actually.
I'm very confused.
I mean, this is like real though. You know, everyone comes out with these super polished presentations and I like a little hiccup.
Okay, here we go. Wait. Oh,
I think you can hit play. Oh, you can hit play up there on the top of your screen too. I think.
I don't know if it's gonna do it.
Well, we're gonna find out.
Okay. Did that change anything?
I still see all your slides.
Okay. I can't move anything on the screen itself.
You can stop sharing for a second and come back.
Sure. Okay, let me try it one more time.
Okay.
Oh,
We have an attendee.
higher screen. There we go. Hey.
Oh,
Well,
we got the infinity effect. This is one of my favorites.
did this come out? Am I changing
Yeah.
anything by
No,
doing this?
oh, hey, yay, we're there.
Did I do it?
Yep, you're there.
Yay.
There's,
you can
okay,
see my
there's
whole
you.
screen.
And it's Mueller, right?
Yes.
Do you take the
Okay, can you
opportunity to
see
ever
the
say
screen?
like,
And then when I do this, I go to a different slide.
yep, but 2 thumbs
Great.
up.
Woohoo! Okay, everybody ignore that last like 10 minutes of stress. Okay, do you want me to just jump in?
Yeah, jump in.
Great. Okay, so back to school and sleep. This is a big topic because we're about to head back into school for most of us. I go back to school September 2nd. I'm jealous if anybody goes back sooner because I'm for school. So back to school and sleep. My name is Kendra Mueller. I am a certified infant and child sleep consultant through the Family Sleep Institute. I'm also a faculty member and multiples instructor for the Family Sleep Institute. I am a mom of 4, so I have 7-year-old twin boys. I also have a 6-year-old boy and a 3-year-old little girl. And I'm the new sleep expert for Lakes Pediatric, which is so exciting. So back to school and sleep. This is what we're going to go over today. We're going to go over sleep requirements by age, sleep environment, ideal sleep schedule for by age, and then sleep roadblocks that can happen and boundaries that we set for sleep that will help us achieve our sleep goals in school age children specifically. So we're talking, I'm going to drop in a few things about like the younger kiddos, but for right now, since we're talking mainly about going back to school, we're going to talk like school age, maybe preschool, and not about the tiny, tiny ones. So sleep requirements by age, this is all within a 24-hour period. So for kiddos who are napping, it would include naps. First year of life, 14 to 18 hours. Years 1 to 5, 11 to 14 hours. Ages 6 to 12, 10 to 13 hours. And 13 to 18, 9 to 11 hours. So I think the biggest surpriser here, or like the biggest surprising fact, is that 10 to 13 hours for ages 6 to 12. I think a lot of times we think like the older and older they get, the less and less sleep they will get. And actually, kiddos should always be getting more sleep than adults. And usually in most cases, much more sleep than adults. So if you're looking at these numbers, I always like to err on the side of more versus less. So we don't want to aim for 10 hours of sleep for a six-year-old. We want to aim for as much sleep as they want to take in a 24-hour period, not capping sleep. We want to let them sleep and do the sleep things they want to do. So an ideal sleep environment, this is very similar to a sleep environment for like a very small child, but it doesn't really change as they get older. So it's cool between 68 and 72 degrees. That keeps them from waking up and being super hot. It'll keep babies from overheating, but then older children from just becoming hot and sweaty when they're trying to sleep. Quiet, so having white noise or a fan or just something to keep out extra home noise, especially if you have siblings in the house. But white noise, I'm pretty specific about what type of white noise. So you don't want white noise to be lullabies or waves or rain on a tin roof. You want that nice static sound. Because if you think about it, when your brain is sleeping, your brain wants something that's really consistent and smooth. And so if we have like a song playing, or if there's a TV on in the background, there are lots of different noises going on. So really for the white noise, we want something that's like, psh. And there's a lot of different colors of white noise. We don't really mind what the color is. It's just that it's a white noise. So like white noise, pink noise, brown noise, whatever noise you like the most, but something that's really consistent. Darkness, darkness at all ages can help with melatonin production. So it helps keep your melatonin flowing. If you do need to have a nightlight, I would highly recommend a nightlight being red, or even amber color would be fine. But Red is a color that does not block melatonin production. So red should be the color that's used if you're using some sort of night light, not white lights or blue lights or green lights or anything like that. And calm. So the older our kiddos get, the more screens get involved in their lives. And so that is going to be the biggest hurdle, is making sure that screen time is not involved in bedtime. So there's a lot of research out there that talks about screens within 60 minutes before sleeping times can really affect the quality of sleep. And so we want to limit screens before bed at least 60 minutes, if not 2 hours, that screens are not being used. So if you want wind down activities, you can encourage quiet activities like reading, reading to them once they get old enough, them reading themselves. My kiddos are obsessed with these things called Yodo minis. They're little storybook tellers. So they there's Tony Box, Yodos. But as they've gotten older, they've used these Yodos and they listen to stories before they fall asleep. And then we have them on a timer and they turn off. So those are really good options to use that aren't screens at bedtime. So an ideal sleep schedule. First, every child is not the same. So a lot of times we can talk about these like super rigid things that are going on with sleep, but we have to remember our kiddos aren't robots. And especially as they get older, you'll see their patterns emerge. I can tell you this as a mother of twins. My twins are very different when it comes to sleep. And so figuring out what that looks like for them and treating them as individual children. So first, you need to answer a few questions or a couple questions. When does your child need to wake up for the day? So we're talking about school time. When does your child need to wake up for the day? So my kiddos are in an early starts elementary school. And so their bus picks them up at 7:17 or something like that. So they need to be up pretty early. So when does your child need to be waking up for the day? And then how many hours of sleep does your child typically do, right? So if you just let them sleep normally, how many hours of sleep would they get? 11, 12, 10, like what does that look like? We don't want to go below 10 at this point. So if you're like, my child only sleeps 8 hours a night, that's something we need to work on as far as like lengthening the amount that they sleep. But then if they get a really solid night of sleep, what does that look like? So when it comes to talking about like what their ideal sleep schedule is, it would be what time they wake up plus the amount of hours that are ideal for them for sleep, and then adding 30 minutes onto that so that they have wind down time at the beginning of their bedtime so that they can just wind down, chill out, and fall asleep. And that would equal their bedtime. So let's say that your child has to wake up at 6:30 in the morning for school. 11 and a half hours. So 11 hours is how much sleep that they typically want. Then half an hour added on to that. So we would say 11 and a half hours. So their bedtime would be 7 p.m. So a lot of times, if we're talking in the 7 o'clock hour, especially for school age kids, sometimes we can be like, what? That is super early. But they need it, especially if you're expecting kindergartner, first grade, second grade to go to school and focus for the whole day, no naps, no rest time. They need that sleep. And so that adjustment to schedule is really important. And as I said before, if your child is sleeping much less than the recommended hours, then look at the schedule and shift it to encourage more sleeping hours. And that's something that you might want to talk to me about outside of this, so we can talk about like sleep hygiene and what sleep looks like and how we're encouraging sleep to happen and getting them as much sleep as they need. So sleep roadblocks, especially for school age children, preschool, going into elementary school, middle school, high school, especially technology. So technology is a huge sleep roadblock. As we know, it can be very addictive. And so it's very important to set strong boundaries around the use of screens. Absolutely no screens within 1 hour of when you want your child going to bed, and no screens in their rooms during sleep time. So let's say that they like get iPad time in their room. You definitely want the iPad out of their room. That's not where it charges. That's not where it lives. We don't want something that's like addictive that can be something that they are waking up in the middle of the night and they decide that they want to go and use it, right? So setting really strong boundaries around technology is going to be super, super important. If it's something that works for you and your family, I just wouldn't recommend screens in the bedroom, period. So like no TVs, no iPads, nothing in the room that is meant for sleeping. Activities can be a huge roadblock. So late night activities like hockey, soccer, sports, anything can be a huge roadblock to sleep. Sibling activities. The thing that I would recommend, and sometimes we can't get around this, is work on schedule. So if there's something like swim lessons that you can be flexible about when you schedule it, or gymnastics, or something that you are not part of a team, work on getting that scheduled into your earlier part of the day so that we can protect sleep. And then when they are on a team, or an older sibling is on a team, then we know, okay, they have practice this night and this night. That means we need to be getting to bed nice and early on all the other nights that they don't have practice, so we can make up for the lost sleep from before. So just because they have to go to bed at like 8 or 8:30 or 9 on one night that they have hockey practice doesn't mean that 8:39 is their normal bedtime. It means that the next nights when we have the time, we prioritize getting extra sleep. If it is an older siblings activities that are like affecting the younger siblings' abilities to sleep, I would say tag team with your parenting partner or ask for help, especially as the children get older. They're able to get rides with people. You're able to carpool, say, hey, mom of whoever, you go drop them off. I will come and pick them up, just so we can protect the sleep of the younger siblings as much as we can. Sharing rooms, siblings sharing rooms, that can be really a big roadblock when it comes to sleep if they're encouraging each other to mess around. So having sleep rules that you post in the room, like this is what is meant to be happening when you're sleeping, those are really helpful, and to go over every single night. Having a hatch light. So a hatch light, they're also called okay to wake clocks. But Hatch is probably the most popular brand. It's a sound machine as well as okay to wake clock. And those can be used as kids get older and older and older, so that they know when their light is red, that's when they're meant to be sleeping. And then their light can turn yellow when they're able to have like quiet time in their room. And then the light turns green when their day is allowed to start. So setting rules and boundaries around that is really helpful. The colors help when they can't tell time. And then sometimes the colors help even when they can tell time, just because it's a much more physical, tangible sign of what they should be doing. And then having really solid boundaries, like setting boundaries for your kids and following through on them when it comes to sleep. And then if those boundaries aren't followed, if those sleep rules are not followed, having logical consequences. So a consequence that happens right after the boundary wasn't followed. So let's say the next morning we weren't able to follow our sleep rules. This is a logical consequence that comes from that. And usually if you do screen time, that's a really helpful one. So losing some screen time, you can earn it back the next night by following your sleep rules, things like that. And then also noticing which child might be lower and higher sleep needs, and making sure that you're basing your sleep times and awake times on the higher needs sleep childs, like the one who needs more sleep. And then if you need to make some adjustments for the lesser needed sleep one, like making sure they have something like a Yodo to listen to in bed, making sure that in the morning when their light is yellow, that they do know what they're allowed to do without waking up their sibling, or even removing them from the room in the early morning so the one who has higher sleep needs can sleep. And then illness. Illness is a sleep roadblock for all ages. You just need to do what you need to do during that time and get the rest that you can. Kind of all sleep rules fly out the window when it comes to illness, but just getting through the illness and then resetting everything when you're done to make sure that everyone's getting sleep, and especially because sleep is so important when we're fighting illnesses. So we just talked through a lot of these things. So boundaries for sleep, having clear and consistent boundaries for your devices, having sleep rules. Actually, my daughter is 3.5, so she's not school age, but we're just moving her into a toddler bed tonight. And I just put her sleep rules up on the bed, on the wall, and they're very, very simple for her age. And then they can be a little bit more advanced and expectation wise for older kiddos. Having an okay to wait clock, like the hatch, the logical consequences, and then making sure that partners are on the same page. So making sure that parenting partners are on the same page when it comes to sleep, when sleep is expected to happen, how we're going to get sleep to happen. It's really important that we're working as a team and that we look each other in the eyeballs and we say, this is what's going on and this is what's going to happen, so that no one's confused about what sleep is going to be like in the home. So this is a big thing. So when we're talking about shifting to school time, so very normal in the summer for bedtimes to get shifted later and later and later and later. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, how did our bedtime get so late? How did this happen? And we have to pull it back. So what we need to do is figure out your ideal schedule. So like what we talked about earlier, your ideal schedule. Once we've figured out our ideal schedule, the week before you start school, you start to pull everything back. If you have a really sensitive sleeper, you might want to do it a little bit more, like 10 days, 2 weeks. But doing it a week before can be really helpful. So 7 days before school begins, you start pulling up bedtime. And I wrote the specific dates for my schedule for kiddos going back to school September 2nd, because I think that's a very common day for people to be going back. So August 25th and 26th, you would pull bedtime up by 15 minutes. So let's say that your kids have been going to bed at 8:30. You would pull bedtime up by 15 minutes for 2 days. Then you would pull bedtime up by 30 minutes for 2 days. Then you would pull bedtime up by 45 minutes for 2 days. Then we have bedtime pulled up for a full hour for 2 days. And then we're on our school schedule if that's what we're looking at. If you're 2 hours beyond your school schedule, then you might want to start pulling it back a little bit earlier. You can also pull it back by half-hour increments. So 30 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Every 2 days. But with that 2-hour shift, you might want to start just a little bit earlier. But you can see it's just these little increments that we shift a little bit earlier, a little bit earlier, a little bit earlier, until we get to that time that we want the kids going to bed. You can do this. You can also cold turkey it and just be like, right, the night before school starts, you're going to bed at 7 o'clock. But don't be surprised if your kids take a while to fall asleep and then they're exhausted the next day. So taking the time to do this can be really helpful, that they can go in and even a week, like the first week of school, which is already exhausting. If we're already shifted to our good sleep schedule, it can be a little bit more easier. So yeah, happy back to school. That was the end of what I had to say today. Just remember that good sleep is crucial at all ages. And remember to reach out to me for your sleep needs. I've listed my email address here. You can also follow me on Instagram. I'm not super active on Instagram, so emailing me is the best way to get a hold of me.
That was exceptional. That was like amazing. I mean, well, I love it because it mirrors a lot of what I already tell parents, and they don't necessarily always believe, because I'm not the sleep expert.
Yeah.
And it's real actionable, which is great. Can I ask you some questions?
Of course.
So what parents often report is that going back to school, shifting the schedule is hard because the sun's still up in Minnesota.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. What tips do you have for parents in that situation?
Yeah. So blackout everything. So blackout shades and then blackout blinds on top of the blackout shades. I also have a company that I quite often recommend called Easy Blackout Shades. And what they do is they make like custom blackout things for your windows that they're very affordable. They Velcro on, you can pull them off very easily. But if you want like a really true blackout solution, then using that. And then just getting your kids used to going to bed when it's still light out. Like there's no questions about it, right? So like that's about setting those boundaries and like saying like, this is when children go to bed. Oh, you see your friends playing outside still? That's okay. That's what their family does. This is what our family does. And it's important for us all to get some sleep. But having rooms that you can black out, and then when you go upstairs, everything's already blacked out, it's really helpful because then they're not just like looking around and stuff, but just making sure that they get used to what that is and how that is. But darkness at any age is really important.
That's great. Would you touch on just the value of parental sleep?
Sure. Yeah, parental sleep is so important. And like this is coming from a mom who has 4 kids, very young kids. And my sleep is so important because I can be a way better parent if I'm sleeping well. If I'm not sleeping well, then I cannot do what I need to do as a parent. And when we think about, so a lot of times, I like to think of sleep as like a gas tank, and like your sleep tank just like goes down and down and down and down and down. And like one great night of sleep every 2 weeks is not going to like suffice. So it really needs to be something that we keep up at the full tank so that we can like do what we need to do and be the parents that we need to be. I think that just to kind of flip it on its head though, a lot of times when we're thinking about working on sleep with our kiddos, we almost feel selfish because we're like, I just really need to sleep and I need to make this better for myself because it's really hard that I'm not sleeping. But if you think about how tired you are, that's how tired your child is, and even more so. Right? Because they're just a child, right? And so it's not selfish of you to want to work on sleep. Are there amazing things that happen when you work on sleep for you? Yes. And there are even more amazing things that happen for your child. So it's really a win-win situation.
Yeah, I often tell parents that parental sleep is super valuable because they have to be responsible. They have to drive cars, they have to be safe, and the data says that if they don't get enough sleep, that it's like driving impaired at a certain point. Yeah, and so that's sort of like super important. One of the most common pushbacks I hear is from teenagers where they're like, I don't need that much sleep, right? Or they saw something on the internet that says, I can only get 5 hours of sleep and that's okay. And they don't love even hearing 9 hours of sleep actually most of the time.
Yeah.
What do you say to these teens?
I'm not a parent of teenagers yet. And I know that pushback is really hard. I think what it is that I really think that the technology boundaries are like the biggest thing. If a child and a teenager are not given the space to relax and be by themselves in a calm, quiet space, they're not going to fall asleep, right? Like if they're in their room with their devices, that would keep them up as much as they want to be awake, And so I really think that putting those boundaries around the devices are the thing that will allow them to get the sleep. And the problem with children and sleep, or people in sleep in general, is like, it's like you can lead the horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. It's the same thing with teenagers, but the more that we can help them be in an environment that helps them sleep, the better.
Yeah. There's so much interesting data about how the light coming hits the back of your eye and it keeps you alert. And then compounding that is the dopamine effect of like, I'm scrolling and I'm looking for another hit. And that is a stimulant in a sense.
Totally.
Parents will probably wonder, going back to school, like, is that the right time to try melatonin? What do you think about melatonin?
Yeah, that's a great question. Melatonin's not my favorite. It's not something I ever recommend to clients. Usually you produce your own melatonin and there's no reason why you shouldn't be producing melatonin. And actually there's just not enough research on the supplemental melatonin to know what it's doing. Like, is it like being detrimental to our ability to produce our own melatonin? Is it something that, you know, it becomes a crutch and we can't not use it anymore? Why do we need the melatonin? And so, and another really hard thing about melatonin is it helps with the onset of sleep. But then when a child or a person is transitioning sleep cycles in the middle of the night, it actually does the opposite. So they can wake up in the middle of the night and then they can't fall back asleep because of the effects of melatonin. And so it's really important to work on sleep hygiene and our sleep habits versus using something like melatonin.
We have a participant question. I just saw a hand.
Hello.
Let's see. There she is.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Sarah.
I have a question about the white noise. And do you recommend that it be on through the night or for the beginning part when like siblings might be noisy or things like that?
Sure.
And my kids are older. And when my kids were younger, I found that if we didn't carry the white noise with us to hotels or on vacations or things like that, they couldn't sleep because they were so used to it. So I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I'm a huge fan of white noise, and I'm a fan of white noise all the time. Habits can be really good. So, you know, what's nice is that you can recreate a sleep environment very easily with white noise, right? So you can go to a hotel, you can go to a different place, you turn on the white noise, and it is a cue in their head that like, oh, this is where I sleep, this is how I sleep, and this is what I'm doing. There's research on white noise about like the volume, like you don't want it like right next to your child's head, right? And you don't want it like turned up as loud as possible. But having that sleep environment is really helpful. Just like the darkness, the white noise can help to just be a really good cue for sleep, and it blocks out that household noise. Now, a lot of people get worried about like, well, what if they get too used to it and they can't sleep without it? What if they get too used to it and they can't sleep without it? Again and again, about all these different things. Well, we all develop our own sleep things, right? Like my husband snores, I sleep with earplugs in, and now he doesn't snore because he uses a CPAP. I still sleep with earplugs in because it's just what I'm used to now, right? I sleep with an eye mask on. It's what I'm used to now. When I don't have it, I feel weird, right? And so we like build these habits. And I don't think that white noise is a bad habit. It is a very helpful habit when it comes to just creating a sleep environment that can be like turned on and you're ready to go.
And you recommend it to stay on? You know, like a lot of the machines have like a 30-minute button, a 2-hour button. With my kids,
no, I would just let it
ones that
stay
on all the
honestly.
time.
I don't think there's any reason to turn it off.
I think let's officially end it, and then let's you and I debrief. I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
So I kind of might like this format. What do you think of it if I had people submit questions beforehand, and then it's kind of a you and me talking, and then we can do the questions. Does it feel empty doing that way?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. No. And like, I think that can be more helpful to do that. And then also can make it more that people can just like do it on their own time, you know, and if they want the information, they can have the information.
And then, oh, did I lose you? There you are. So, you know what I was thinking is on the website, I've got you and I've got your bio. What I was thinking is, what if I put the recording by your bio, by your website?
Sure.
Okay.
Great idea.
And then the other thing I might do is, I've got a dad who does some video editing. I might have him take a pass at the video just to cut out like where you and I are.
Technology buffering.
Well, and you know, condense it so it's like a real digestible video, because
sure.
That was the whole goal, is to keep it sort of 20 to 30 minutes without 60 just feels like it's, and I think
no one's going to sit and watch that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
Okay. So this was super, I thought it was great. I'm glad I did.
You know what I think also might be helpful is doing a audio version of it.
Oh yeah, like pull out
like
the audio,
even pulling it off and like putting it into like a podcast format so people can listen to it in the car.
Yeah, because LM Studio, not LM Studio, sorry, Notebook LM can do that.
Yeah. So,
That's
and then
awesome.
you could just have like audio only and then like the full video. But like, yeah, I would listen to something like that.
Yeah, because you read the important pieces on the slides. They're not missing
Mhm.
any key visuals.
Yeah.
There's so much. Like you gave me like 6 ideas for like future talks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yay.
there's so much stuff where parents talk about and ask about sleep all the time.
I can imagine that it's like the big hitter for everybody. I mean, sleep is just like interesting because it's the one thing that we all have to do together,
Yeah.
right? Like our children and us, we all sleep at the same time. Like we don't have to eat at the same time.
Yeah.
We don't have to relax at the same time. We don't have to learn at the same time, but we all sleep at the same time.
Okay. And maybe if you're interested, we could do like a joint thing. Like I'll do like biology, physiology stuff. And
Sure.
then you can like correct things that, because there's a lot of myths out there about sleep, right?
Sure.
And the data's not like you've seen all the sleep books for babies, right?
Yeah.
Like,
900.
nobody. Oh my God. This was great. You did great.
Thanks.
I mean, not that you need my affirmation, but I was I was enjoying all of the slides in the data.
Yay.
Okay, so I'll send you all the pieces and give you a final say before I post anything. Okay.
Sure.
And then, you're welcome. Like, I'll send you a whole copy of all of it so you can do what you want with it too.
Great.
Like if you want to edit clips out for yours, that make an easy Instagram like thing.
Yeah, that's great. That's actually a really good idea.
Good. How much business do you need? You looking for some clients right now?
I'm always just like, I just let things come in as they come. I've had a few people from your practice reach out to me. I'm not sure if any of them are like my current clients, but I honestly can't remember who is with me. But I'm always happy to take on clients, and especially when the kids go back to school, it'll be a good time.
Did the Bogosians call you?
The Bogosians. Yes, they did. I think we talked for a while, and I think she needs to be in a place where she's really ready to jump and like be solid about it, because she gave me vibes of like, I know I need to do this, but I'm not prepared to do this. You know what I mean? And so there are definitely like moms and parents who like, when they talk to me, they're like, give me the magic button that I press and everything's perfectly fine and I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And those were the vibes that I got from her. But I have a feeling that it'll be like, oh, I talked to this lady. And then in 4 or 5 months time, she'll be like, oh, I really have to do something. Okay, I'm finally ready. So
Yeah.
I get a lot of calls like that where I have like a phone call and I'm like, I don't think that's going anywhere now, but then they come back later.
I'm wondering, tell me what you think of this. Like I could offer you as an option because like a lot of those moms, right? When the husbands are all traveling to play, they all have the same issues.
Sure.
Right. They've got all these kids, they're single parenting, the dads are gone for a week and then the dads are back and then the dads are gone for a week and then the dad, right? And so that's a unique set of families who could use some like catered tips. I think that'd be interesting.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that would like parenting, single parenting, like when you're trying to put multiple kids to bed at the same time, like that kind of stuff. That's really helpful. Yeah. I was even thinking that at some point in time, like maybe when things like spin a little bit more with like what our relationship is and how we want to move forward with this, that it could be something where, if people want to have like a 30-minute sleep check-in a month, where they come in and talk to me or whatever, that could be something that we do. Because I think I talked to somebody else from your practice yesterday, and I think that she thought that we were going to like dissect everything in like the 15 minutes that we had. And it was like, no, we're not going to dissect everything. Like there's a lot more to this, than just like, what time does your kid go to sleep? You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. And I'll keep working on the marketing angle of that because it's hard to say, hey, you can reach out and get like an initial consult. And then people are like, oh, and this is an option for my service because people aren't used to pediatric clinics offering like
Sure.
this kind of thing. They usually just get
Sure.
a phone number and say, call her and it's your problem after that.
Sure,
And
sure,
so
sure.
I got to keep working on massaging the messaging.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, yeah, and we can keep on talking about like what that looks like too.
Great. Happy to do it. Love all we've done so far.
Woo! And
Good
you
to see
saved
you.
me from hand, foot, and mouth. So
Good luck with the toddler bed.
I know, I think she's going to be great. The main reason that we're doing it. So, she's 3.5, so she's perfectly fine and she'll be fine. But I like to keep my kids in their crib until they're like ancient. And that is always my recommendation, like keep them in as long as possible. And, but she is one of the children who will not pee in her overnight underwear. Like she wakes up, she wants to go to the bathroom, but she's obsessed with her dad. And so when she wakes up in the night, if I go in there, she's like, no, daddy, I need my daddy. And I get my husband up and then he's up for like 2 hours because he can't fall back asleep again because he can't. And so we're like, okay, if she can get out, we put a little like training potty in her room, which we did for our others as like what is it called? A chamber pot. Just like put something in her room for her to use. And so hopefully she'll use that in the middle of the night instead of waking everybody up. And I just think she's ready. I think she's ready, but we'll see. We'll see how she does. And who knows, maybe tomorrow we'll be putting the crib wall back up. But for now, we're doing the top of bed.
Well, I wish you luck and I want to thank you again.
Yes, of course. My pleasure. I'm so excited about this.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right. Okay. Bye, Michael.